Welcome to Swim Segments. I'm your host, Brandon Oates, also head coach of the Belleville Beast swim team. Today is our final episode of the series. It's been amazing, and to cap off this whole process, we have a very special show for you today. Coming to us from the Windsor Aquatic Club and Olympian head coach,
McWha.
As well, we have Beast alumni and U Sports swimmers,
Lauren, Stephanie, and Katelyn.
It is going to be a fantastic last show. We're also throwing in a little Just Keep Swimming video by all our swimmers out there. As well, we have a little special message from the coaches at the end. So thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure that you're ready to hit that pool whenever that comes. We are looking at some open water stuff in July, if possible. We're looking maybe outdoor pools could be open in August, who knows? And we'll be looking to get in the water first thing in the fall, as soon as that pool opens, and get to work. So that's it. Thanks so much for all your support during these last many weeks. And let's go check in on Coach Nyden. Thanks. All right, what's going on? Coach Nyden here for our last swim segments, man. How you doing?
Not bad. It's the last one already. Time flies when you're not swimming, I guess, eh?
Yeah, last one. This has been quite the journey. We made it through it. I definitely realized that I don't want to get into a film or editing career of any kind. I miss the pool deck. I want to get back on there, so hopefully we'll get on there soon enough. On today's show, we've got 2000 Olympian and head coach of the Windsor Aquatic Club, McWha. So he'll be joining us, as well as a few Beast alumni, Lauren Taylor, Stephanie Cairns, and Katelyn Cairns. As well, we've got a little segment from our coaches meeting last week to throw in there as a little message to everybody. And yeah, it's a good way to finish up the last show. So what do you got?
Nice. Just kind of a little bit of a goodbye a little bit. Just last segments. I just wanted a little bit of a farewell and a little wrap up of everything we kind of spoke about, but just more of a kind of a goodbye, end of a chapter. And this is a weird time, so.
We've got some plans for the summer. It's June now, so we'll see what July brings with some open water, and maybe there's a chance of the outdoor pool, and we'll hopefully be back to some new kind of normal in the fall.
Yeah, sounds good. Hopefully, man. I think so. I think it'll happen. So everybody stay prepared, stay ready, because we're coming back.
Yeah, that is the key message, right? Just stay prepared. It's coming, right? Yeah. If you slacked off in the last little while, get back on track.
We'll know. Everybody will know.
All right, well, let's get into it. Let's go check out some interviews.
Sounds good.
Well, welcome to the show, head coach of the Windsor Aquatic Club and 2000 Olympian, McWha. How you doing, Mike?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Good. Well, so what have you been up to during this strange time, and what are your athletes been doing? And maybe tell us a little bit of your background of how you got into coaching.
Yeah, so for me, it's been, especially at the beginning, it's been a struggle. I think as a swimmer and as an athlete and then as a coach, we're creatures of routine, and having that suddenly yanked away from us, it was a little bit of I found myself a little bit lost sometimes and trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do. I mean, I have a lot of things that I can work on. I can work on some of my coaching portfolios and all that stuff. But at the beginning, it was definitely difficult trying to figure out what to do with myself during the day. Since then, last month or so, last couple of weeks, been much better. Getting in the routine of doing a little bit of exercise, doing some work around the house. But not a heck of a lot. Just staying in, staying safe, abiding by all the rules. In terms of what my athletes are doing, we have a program that we use for our senior athletes called HexFit. It's just like an app and a computer program that the coaches have access to. We can design workouts for them, and they can go do it on their own. Obviously, with certain insurance things and some Ontario things, we're not asking them to do anything crazy. They should be, in a safe space. But a lot of the stuff that we're asking them to do doesn't require any equipment. So I think with our younger ones, we're starting that up this week with our first level of competitive guys. And that's just body weight stuff, simple like activation. And our senior guys, we want them to do a little bit more. So if they have access to some kettlebells, if they have access to some stretch cords, or bands, any of that stuff, that we can start to incorporate a little bit more stuff with it. But yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we started with. We're going to try and have a Zoom meeting maybe once a week with sort of 3 different levels. We're going to separate our groups into like an advanced level, intermediate, and lower level. So that way we can, gather each 3 groups once a week and just have a catch up with them, make sure that they're doing things. I think what we've heard from our families is that it's great to give them something, but they want to sort of be held, the kids to be sort of held accountable because we don't actually know if they're doing it, right? So for them, they can say, okay, I just log in the app and I've done it, but we don't actually know. So if we do a catch up once a week, then that's the sort of way to hold them accountable. So that's where we're at.
Perfect. And how did you how did your coaching career kind of start off? Don't tell us too much about your swimming things yet, but
no. So like I swam for 15 years. So when I retired, I was 23 years old. And I won't go too much into swimming, but at that point I had achieved my lifetime goal. So I can imagine what sort of professional athletes go through. Like if you're an NFL athlete and all you've known is the structure of sport and football, and all of a sudden at the age of 24, you're done. And you have your whole life ahead of you, but that's the only thing that you've known. It can be a bit of a struggle. And I didn't have millions of dollars, so I didn't get into trouble. But like, I can imagine why some of these professional athletes get in trouble because they have no idea what to do with themselves. So for me, it was kind of a circuitous path to get into coaching. I started off thinking, okay, I really have no idea what I want to do. So I decided, my one buddy was going to Korea to teach English. So I was like, okay, I'll tag along. I spent 2 years teaching. And I had a fantastic time and traveled the world a little bit. And I was like, okay, I think, well, I don't really know what I want to do, but I think I want to do a master's degree. So I went back to school, did a master's degree in sport marketing. While I was doing that master's degree at University of Windsor, I started helping out as a volunteer with West and Andre Semenov at West. And because most of his practices, all of his practices, I think at that point were at the University of Windsor pool, St. Dennis pool. So I was like, okay, this is great. I can give back to the sport that's given so much to me. And at first I wasn't getting paid. I was just coming in, sometimes even in the morning, which for a grad student is not great, but I would come in and I would help out. And that's where I got my start. And then from there it evolved into a paid position. And then when I moved to Toronto, I was in Toronto for about 7 or 8 years. The impetus or the reason that I left Windsor to go to Toronto was to pursue sport marketing. At that point, I still wasn't doing this for a career. I was thinking, okay, this is fun, I like it, but I want to give back to sport in a different way. If I can work for an NCO, a national sport organization, or something like that, and give back, that's what I was looking for. I can use my degree to do so. So when I went to Toronto, I got an internship with the Canadian Olympic Committee, and I was working with that. But then I realized, as I was doing that, I was also coaching the Scarborough Swim Club under Sylvain. And while I was doing that, I was like, I don't want to be in an office every single day staring at a computer. This is not really meant for me. I'm enjoying being on the pool deck, interacting with the swimmers, and watching them develop. So then I stuck with that from there, and I dropped the corporate marketing jobs.
from Scarborough, you went on to Markham, and I believe now with Windsor for 6 seasons.
I think this is my 5th or 6th year. I'm not exactly entirely sure.
Well, why don't you tell us about some of your proudest moments, experiences there, or accomplishments, and what are you looking forward to most when you get back to the pool with your swimmers?
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of accomplishments, we've had quite a bit of change since we got here. I mean, I think the membership is almost doubled since I've gotten here. When I came over, there was another coach that came with me, Coach Cord Kitson, started up with me at the same time. And since then, we've had some really, really high level success. We've had a girl, Sadie Fazekas, win a national medal in a 50 fly at national championships. As well, Maddie McDonald in a 50 backstroke, winning a senior national medal. Multiple junior national medalists, Brendan Oswald, Maddie Gatchell has been up there as well. Ethan Fazekas with just narrowly missing a junior team in the 50 freestyle. So we've had some really high-end performances. I think this year Brendan Oswald had already made the 200 fly time to go to Junior Pan Pacs in Hawaii. So it's a little bit disappointing he wasn't able to get to trials and do it again and try and secure a spot in that team. But those are like the high-end successes. Some of the ones that I've been the most honored and proud of have been just in our first year winning team champs Division III, and then the next year we were set to rock and roll in Division II, and for whatever reason, some Ontario wanted us to host Division I. We're like, well, we can't host Division I and go to Division II in Brantford. So we didn't win Division II, but I think we were set to. And we had a girl switch from another team, and Cord and I and herself bought into changing her technique because she was really struggling to progress. So for a year and a half, she really didn't swim fast. And we were just hammering on this technique, and this is the way you can swim faster. And finally, after that point, it clicked, and she had a phenomenal season and has continued to progress from there. But it took a year and a half of constantly hammering on these aspects to change that technique to get her to a level where we were happy with her stroke. And then finally, we had a girl this year, a recent university graduate, that had to make the decision to go into the workforce or decide, do I want to pursue a career in swimming in terms of trying to make Olympic trials? So she put her faith in myself and the coaching staff to come here and try for that Olympic trials. She came up a bit short, but I couldn't be more proud and more honored to be able to help her work towards getting her goal of getting to Olympic trials.
Well, let's put Windsor on the hold for right now and talk about yourself and your swimming career. So maybe we go right back to the start. If you can share kind of some of your experiences as a age group swimmer for Windsor and the years leading up to the 2000 games, and maybe tell us also a little bit about your time as a Wolverine at the University of Michigan.
Wow, that's a lot to talk about. But yeah, so I started when I was 8. I think I was bugging. Like, I was a kid and I liked to do a lot of different sports, and I bugged my parents constantly because my older brother swam, and they were used to me starting something and being like, I don't want to do it anymore. So they actually didn't let me swim until like a year of badgering them, because they're like, you're just going to start and then stop. So I started when I was 8, and it progressed pretty well. Obviously, I was a pretty good young swimmer. And then when I was 15, I made my first junior national team. 17, my first senior national team. And then in 1996, I have at the Olympic trials, going into it, I was one of the favorites to win a couple of events. The first day of the meet, I swam a 400 freestyle, and I won the race. And but I had to make a time standard at that time, so I didn't make the time standard to go. There was a FINA cut. It was like a certain standard, and then there was a Canadian Olympic Committee cut, which I just narrowly missed. Had I got my best time, I would have made it, but I had been sick a couple weeks before, and I was still just sort of recovering from that, just getting off antibiotics. And at that point, you're not allowed to take any sort of, Advil, cold and sinus, all that stuff, because, it's against WADA or against the Canadian Olympic Committee's drug testing. So you can't really take anything other than antibiotics to get yourself in a regular Tylenol to get yourself well. 1500 was my main event. And going into it, I felt fairly confident that I could swim fast. I had to do a standard. I'm not exactly sure of the tenths anymore, but it was like 15:35.9 was the time I had to go. And this is at the Olympic pool in Montreal. It's a massive facility. At that point, it hadn't been retrofitted. There's still stands on both sides. And it was Sunday night for this final, so it was packed. And I remember the race, take your marks, go. The sound was a little bit faint. You could hear it, but whatever. It's a start for a 1500-meter race. Not a big deal. And then race went on. Race progressed. I got to the lead, and I was definitely going to win it. I knew I was going to win it, and it was crazy loud. Like I could, as a swimmer, you can't really hear it so much as feel that noise and see the excitement. And you have, like, I'm from a small team at Windsor. I'm used to like 3 guys cheering me on. And then when you see the entire sideline going bananas as you come down that last 50, I knew I was close. So when I touched the wall, it was dead silent. And I was like, oh, I missed this time. I don't want to look. So I eventually looked, and it said 15:36.1. So at that point, I missed the Olympics by 0.2 seconds in a 1500-meter freestyle. I had won the race, but it didn't matter. I had to make the cut, and I had missed it. So I got out of the pool, and at the Olympic pool, they have the main 50-meter tank. And then behind that, they had like the curtain set up, and then they had the dive tank. So I went back there, and I bawled my eyes out. And then I thought that was it. I thought, that was done. And then at this point, I was 19 years old. It was my last year of high school. After the race, after I, warmed down and I went to the change room, somebody came up and asked me about the protest. I was like, what protest? What do you mean? And so it turns out that in all international races and national races, there's always a finish end. They move to start end if there's a 50. So the women's 50-meter freestyle was before our race. For whatever reason, they rerouted the sound down underneath the blocks at that end, the start end there, but they didn't reroute the sound back before my race. So that's why it sounded so faint at the beginning of the race. So when it started, we're like, okay, we could hear it. So my coach and a few others protested that it takes a certain amount of time for the sound to travel from that end of the pool to this end of the pool. So there was a committee. I guess people stayed there all night, and they determined that it was going to take like 0.27 for the time to get down there. So I ended up missing by like 3 to 4 100ths of a second after that protest. So I was a little bit jaded, a little bit, at that point, sports psych wasn't a huge thing. And I'm sure I could have used it, because I was like, man, I don't want to swim here. I just want to, that's sort of solidified my decision to go to the States. If Canada doesn't want to support me, then I'm getting out of here. So at that point, still, I hadn't decided where I wanted to go to school. And that was obviously I watched the Olympics that summer. This guy named Tom Dolan from the University of Michigan was phenomenal. He was the world record holder before Phelps in the 400 IM, and he won gold in the 400 IM and 200 IM, and he also set the world record. And the guy that was second was also a Michigan guy. So I was like, okay, this is where I want to go to school. I called him up, and they said I had talked to him earlier, and because Tom Dolan decided he was going to go professional, they had now more money. So I said, oh, do you have any money? And they said, yeah, we have 50%. So I went on a 50% scholarship my first year and was able to progress to a higher scholarship through my career at Michigan. When I was there, we were able to win 2 Big Ten championships, top 10 NCAAs, and I was able to get All-American a couple years in 1500 or 1650, and a captain my last year, a tri-captain my last year. So a phenomenal time there, especially when you get to go to football games and watch. In 97, we won a national championship. So, yeah, that's, awesome. That's my swimming in a nutshell.
Share some of your experiences there, what it was like to achieve the Olympic dream, and can you describe anything that was like any special memories from Sydney
heading into 2000 trials, I was not the man anymore. I wasn't the guy in terms of 1500, 400. I knew that I had my work cut out for me. Not only did I have to make a standard, now I was going to have to make the FINA cut, and I was going to have to beat some swimmers that I hadn't beaten in a few years. So I realistically, I thought my best chance was in 200 freestyle in the relay. And in order for, they had it so that they would take 6 people potentially on that relay. So I don't know the exact times, but let's say in order for us to send 4 people, let's say that they had to average 151.5, the top 4. And then us to send 5 people, let's say it had to be 151.0. And then let's just say send 6, it'll be 150.5. So we did the race, I touched and I was 6th. And there's no way looking at the clock I could do the math that quick. So I had no idea if I'd made it or not. And I got out of the water, and actually Owen von Richter, a guy that was in a similar situation in 96, just missed the Olympic team in the 400 IM from behind Curtis, went to Michigan as well. He was behind the blocks, and he was excited for me because he didn't know either. And he was standing there with me, and this guy came up to me and said, "Congratulations, you just made the Olympic team." And both of us look at him, no smiles on our face, and we say, "Are you sure?" And he's like, he's sort of taken aback, and he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Okay, sweet, that's amazing." And then we did the whole house interview, and obviously I was super stoked and excited to be a part of it. Went through all the staging camps. We went to Cairns in Northern Australia, which was amazing. The Olympic Village is a whole different experience. As an alternate, there's no guarantee that we're going to swim. So for me, it was a little bittersweet that I wasn't able to actually race in the Olympic Games. We did a time trial. I swam my fastest ever time trial, actually best ever time. But we're not like the States or other countries, or Australia, where they can put 4 people on in the morning and then 4 people on, different people at night. They decided that we're going to go with our 4 best in the morning. We qualified for finals and we were 8th place. So I feel like I was still a part of it, even though I didn't actually get to compete. That was definitely part of it. So the bittersweetness of that, being at the best shape of your life, at the biggest stage of your life, and not getting able to race. But I mean, yeah, the experience in itself was awesome.
Maybe tell us how you felt when you were inducted to the Windsor Essex Sports Hall of Fame.
Coming back and years later getting inducted to the Windsor Essex Sports Hall of Fame was really cool, because you don't get to that level by yourself. And having the ability to share that with my family, with my dad, my mom, my coaches, my teammates, having the ability to thank them for everything that they sacrificed or invested. I like to use the word invested, to help me get there was awesome. And to have my parents able to see that, and they can sort of pat themselves in the back, for me is great. Whatever, that's fine. A Hall of Fame, that's fantastic. But I thought of it more as an honor for them to be able to say, oh, this is my son.
I got to say, it's swimming might be that individual sport, but it's definitely, like you said, you can't do it on your own. So there's that team factor, athlete, coach, parent, and all working cohesively together. So that's awesome to say. And I'm gonna tell you, I can understand the bittersweet part that you had listening there too. But in the end, you were an Olympian and you achieved that dream.
One of the things I always tell my swimmers is, well, I tell them a lot of stuff, but I tell them I'm never going to cry for them if they miss a festival standard or even a junior national or a national or Olympic trials cut. I'll be like, listen, you missed the Olympics, I'll cry with you. But until then, I'm all out of tears for that stuff. So, we'll get back to the drawing board. We'll work harder. We'll work smarter, but don't cry about it. There's nothing, I don't want to hear it.
I love that advice. And speaking of advice, what can you tell the swimmers right now, or what can you share with them to what they should be doing right now, how they should be conducting themselves during the current situation, and what they can do to prepare as we get closer to getting back into the water?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing I think it's a good time to prehab or rehab. So if you've had anything that's like a nagging injury or like something that's there's always been a weakness. Like if you've been told, okay, you got like weak hamstrings, because in general, swimmers' hamstrings probably aren't the strongest, because most of the kick we do is, quad-oriented kick down or kick up on backstroke. So trying to find that muscle balance. So doing exercises that you might not like because they hurt more than other exercises. So, and then creating that core stability, making sure that your upper back and your, like I said, your hamstrings or your core, you're working on, strength and conditioning that. Doing mental exercises, doing like a mental workbook. All those things can help. Obviously, if you have a pool and you have somebody to watch you while you're in the pool, like a parent, you could do lots of things with tethered swimming. You can get a stretch cord, tether yourself, work on technique, put a mirror down in the bottom of the pool and take a look at your technique while you're swimming. Lots of skull, or do a ton of flip turns. I'm going to do 200 perfect flip turns in a row. Push-offs, perfect streamline, one kick. Obviously, you can't do more than that in some pools, but work on something that you're not good at, so that when you get back to it, you're ready to go. So that's what I would say.
Well, thank you so much for your time here today. Greatly appreciate this. I think this is an awesome interview. I think the swimmers and any parents or any other coaches catching this can gain a lot of insight. So greatly appreciate your time.
No problem. Thanks, Brandon.
All right. Take care, Mike.
Hey, Mr. Grumpy Gills. When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim.
Dory, no singing.
I love to swim. And
Dory.
when you want to swim, you want
See,
to
I'm gonna get stuck now with that song. Now it's in my head.
Sorry. Hey, Mr. Grumpy Gills. When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, 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 just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, 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 just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, 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 just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, 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 just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, 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 just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Hey, Mr. Grumpy Gills. When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim.
Dory, no singing.
Dory. I love to swim. And
Dory.
when you want to swim, you want
See,
to
I'm gonna get stuck now with that song. Now it's in my head.
Sorry.
Hello, Belleville Beast. Here's our last segment of It's Go Time in the Off Time with Coach Knight. And I hope all you guys are doing well. It's been a really tough couple months. I was going to do a segment on some other stuff, but I realized maybe the best way to kind of do the last segment is just to wish everyone the very best over the next couple months before we start back up again. This season obviously has been a super bummer. I feel extremely bad for all of you who are on their way to getting their first regional or second regional or festival, or going after records, or just who are swimming extremely well. I know a lot of my guys were swimming amazing this year. I'm so proud of everybody who swam. I saw some amazing people dropping times, improving everything, and it just sucks that a lot of you guys lost all that momentum. Just want to tell you guys, you really just have to keep your heads on straight. This is a really tough, awkward time. I never had anything like this when I swam. I'm sure Brandon and Kristen never felt that way either. It's a very unique time. You're going to remember this for the rest of your careers. But I think the most important thing is a lot of you guys, when you guys get back into the water, or when it's getting close to getting back into the water, you just have to refocus. Getting this much time out of the water is not going to make it as easy. Come September, October, whenever we get back into it. you have to get into the mindset of it's go time almost immediately. You won't have that warm-up period like you did last year or some other years where 2, 3, 4 weeks. You got to get the mindset. That's why I was telling you guys a little bit about goals and habits and dreams and setting affirmations and that kind of stuff. I think there's going to be a lot more mental focus that you guys might need for the start of next season, just to be able to make up some of the lost time and get back to where you were. Good news is a lot of you guys are so young, so talented, you're going to jump right back into it, and you won't even feel like you've been out of the water that long. But it's going to be a process. It's going to be tough, and I just really wish everyone the very best in their little journey over the next couple months before we get back into the water. So stay focused. Try to eat healthy. I know exercising or playing sports and doing your usual routines aren't really happening right now, but I really hope come July and August, you guys start maybe doing some of those push-ups or exercises, or I saw a lot of you guys swimming in your pools, which is awesome, and doing, Kristen's challenges. It's so awesome to see. I'm so proud of everybody who's been able to do that. Really wish you guys all the best. Just stay focused. I really do believe some of the stuff that I kind of explained about setting dreams and goals, I hope some of you guys were able to take that to heart. Maybe set a few, just write them down. I know Kristen and Brandon always have you guys writing out on a piece of paper your goals and some times, but actually do that. Start looking at it in June, July, August, September. The more you see it, the more you'll really want it, rather than just doing it as a quick exercise when we give it to you come October, November, or whenever we usually hand you those pieces of paper. Take responsibility. The sport is a very independent sport, so it's all on you. Try to eat healthy, work out, just do your very best. Just wanted to say again, I'm very proud of everybody. This is a very tough time. You guys are awesome club, awesome group. You're all awesome people, awesome swimmers. Really missing you guys, and I hope you guys all, hopefully we can open up the season, maybe sometime in August if they open up some pools, or by next season for sure. So for one last segment here, it's go time. I wish you guys the best of luck, and we'll talk soon. Take care, guys, and I will see you hopefully soon. Bye.
Right. Well, welcome to the show, Lauren Taylor, Beast Alumni and swimmer at the University of Victoria, and Stephanie and Katelyn Cairns, Beast Alumni and swimmers at Western University. So how you guys doing?
Really good.
Really good, yeah.
All right, well, we're going to get right into it. So what have you guys been doing to stay busy during this time, and what have you been doing to keep up with fitness being away from the pool?
I found it really helpful to find activities that, maybe I wouldn't have the chance to do when I am swimming. So I've learned that I've really enjoyed doing puzzles. I've made a couple 1,000-piece ones with my mom. I've also been reading a lot of books. I'm currently reading Michelle Obama's Becoming, and I find that like a very inspiring read. And then I guess with regards to fitness, since I do have quite a bit of spare time, I have been trying to do my best to really make sure I get in the fitness hours. So I try to alternate a day of cardio with a day of dryland. So I've been doing the elliptical, which is just behind me, an hour a day. And then on the other days, I like to do more like a dryland sort of routine that our dryland instructor gave us. Western is doing like Zoom workouts. So I finally sometimes like to pop in and do those. And yeah, it's just been nice to like take some time to relax since otherwise we're typically busy. And now it's just a time to really take a step back and relax.
Perfect.
I've actually been studying for the MCAT. I'm writing it a month tomorrow, so I've been pretty busy with that. That's definitely taken up a lot of time. As for fitness, I also alternate between a day of cardio and a day of dryland. I've been running and also going on the elliptical depending on the weather. And I do like workout videos kind of on the days when I'm doing dryland, so I'm a really big fan of PassFit.
What's that? PassFit?
PassFit, HAS, and then fit.
Okay.
They're very encouraging. Lots of it's a YouTube video, a YouTube channel. They're very encouraging, very peppy, nice to listen to.
That's cool. What about you, Lauren? What have you been doing?
I've been doing some cardio workouts. It's pretty obvious that I'm not a runner. So I do a lot of like skipping and stuff. I've just gotten access to a home gym from a neighbor, so I've been doing some weights. And I also have access to a 40-foot pool, so I've been doing some swimming.
Oh, that's awesome. So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about what you are studying in school and maybe share some of your main goals for this upcoming swim season.
Yeah, so I guess I'll go. I'm in an honors double major in pathology and interdisciplinary medical science. I'm really enjoying it. It's a great program. I'm really interested in all the courses. As for the upcoming swim season, I'm really hoping to just, if anything this situation has taught me is not to take like anything for granted. So I'm really hoping to take like every meet and whatever that may look like, every practice, one step at a time, and just trying to enjoy like every last bit of it through like what will most likely be my last swim season. So yeah.
Cool. Lauren, what about you?
I'm in the elementary education at the University of Victoria. I'm really enjoying it. I was supposed to do practicum this summer, but that didn't happen. My goals for next season, hopefully there is a season, is to make another Olympic trials cut. So either in the 50 to 4 or 800 free.
Perfect. And Steph?
And I'm actually in a very similar program to Katelyn, so I'm also doing an honors double major, but in physiology and interdisciplinary medical science. So there's quite a bit of overlap in courses, but they are different programs. With regards to goals for, I guess, the upcoming swim season is I'd really like to take the chance to just like really enjoy all that swimming has brought me. I'm actually one of the elected captains for the Western swim team next year, and I'm really looking forward to like seeing what that has in store. And just like really, rather than focusing on what I have not or like have yet to accomplish, like focusing on, like this is probably going to be it. Like Katelyn said, really enjoying like the laughs for what they are, and not so much focusing on, I haven't accomplished this yet, or I haven't accomplished that yet, and more, look at how far I've come from like, junior beast, or it was called the I Can Swim program when I was there, and just like now up to like finishing it and graduating, just like really reflecting on that.
That's cool. So you guys were probably three of the most dedicated swimmers that we've ever had. Now we've got a few right now that are giving you a little bit of a run for your money, but I mean, you were there, you basically had every workout and stuff too. Lauren as well too, traveling all the way from Wooler over close to Brighton. And you can see how like your time management and stuff too, being able to handle such a load like that. None of this that you're doing right now comes as a surprise to me, because I've saw what you did and I knew you could do this, and it's pretty amazing to see. So let's maybe reflect a little bit back on your Beast days, and like, can you tell us maybe one or two of your favorite experiences or memories that you had with your time with Beast?
My favorite is relays. I really like the atmosphere. I seem to get more stressed for relays than individual events, but it's because of like, if you let yourself down, you're also letting your team down too. But just like the atmosphere, the ones that stand out is the Nepean pool. I don't know, we just have done so much there, especially that very shallow end. We love that end. Also home swim meets. It's just the atmosphere, and like there's more of a team because there's more people that can swim there. It's a fun place to swim.
I would say that like some of my favorite experiences actually came from when we were at the meets, but like not swimming. So I know especially at nationals, oftentimes we do, little events as a team. Like I remember when it was at the Quebec City Nationals, we ended up going to the Valcartier water park, and like I still have fond memories of that, and just being with like, I guess like all of my teammates and like some of my closest friends, like, Lauren was there, Nate, I believe, was also there too when we were at the water park, and just like really like seeing the cities while we were also there. We went on a boat cruise at some point too, and Rafiq, Nate, Lauren, I think Mel might have been there too, I can't really remember, but just like really taking in like the different cities. And that was also like another like experience I really enjoyed, was the first time I could like travel truly, like get on a plane and fly somewhere for swimming, just because like that was like a really big accomplishment for me. You see that in the TVs, the movies, where it's like, you're flying away. And even though we were going to like beautiful Winnipeg, like that was the first time where you're truly like getting on an aircraft and like flying, and it was just like a special moment for me, being like, you've come a long way from, like I said before, just like, starting in anyone, like seeing like where hard work could like, really get you.
Yeah, mine's a much more simpler and like my very concrete event. It would have been like the Easterns of 2015 or 2016. I just remember it was at Laval. And we agreed, like you, me, Mel, and Steph, if one of us got a medal, we could make our own workout for like, I think it would have been the Wednesday or the Monday like after. And Mel got her a medal in one of the backstroke events. And I just remember the workout we got to make after. It was just a hoot and a half. I had a lot of fun with it. At one point we were doing like a relay, I guess you could call it, but like we were all on the same team and we were just like carrying each other down the shallow end. And I just thought that was a lot of fun.
You guys definitely created so many amazing memories and stuff too that we had there. It was very, very entertaining and awesome to coach you girls, and it was a pleasure. So I'm honored to have that there, and I'll never forget those times and cherish all those memories with Beast, and hope to make plenty more. I think what I'd like to go on to is your swimming at post-secondary swimming. It's very big change from what happens at Beast. So can you guys kind of tell me some of your biggest unexpected challenges that you faced when you first got onto university swimming?
I found there was a very big difference in like what training looked like from the jump from age group to, I guess, like university swimming. Mostly, I guess, like in regard to, the program I found at Beast was very like oriented around like what made a set difficult was like the pace time. So for example, like the 2050s on 40, like the making the 40 was the challenging part, versus like coming to Western, like for when I'm at least like joining the distance group right off the bat, like my workouts were quite a bit longer. Especially in my first year, it wasn't uncommon for them to be, well, they were never almost under 6.5, and it wasn't uncommon for them to be like over 7 kilometers long. So that was like a big, like huge difference in training where, there was a lot of like focus on like quality meterage when we were in the pool. Not that what we're doing now is not like quality meterage, but it's just a lot more of it. And then just like the difference in what like the pace times were. So like it was no longer, the pace time was difficult. It was, now you're expecting, even if it's on 125, it's an expectation you're holding 105. So like it was a big like jump. I found like adjusting to like that new mindset where like, like needing to like really dig deeper to accomplish accomplish a pace time, when rather than just like short sight, if I touch the wall at the 37, okay, like better regroup and get it onto so I can leave on the 40, but more like time to reflect and go, like now I have time to catch my breath, but enough time to go, man, like this is really hurting. And just like making that adjustment.
Mine's more on like the time management, because there's not enough minutes in a day. So I just found I have good time management skills, but like you're at school, you have classes all day, then swimming in the evening, and then you plan to do homework, but you also have to wake up early in the morning to go to swim practice. And it's just like, you have to really manage your time well, or you're not going to succeed in either school or swimming.
The number of sets I was doing per workout. So in Belleville, we did a lot of sets, mostly like smaller, like shorter distance ones. And it really kept the pace up, and like, boredom wasn't a huge issue just because like, you were just always changing things up. Versus our workouts now, like it's not uncommon for us to have a warm-up set, the main set, and a cool-down set. And like Steph said, at like 6-7 kilometers. So that was a big adjustment. Being able to motivate myself through the length of the workout while also like staying focused and not just like letting myself get sloppy or letting my technique falter.
Well, I definitely admire what you ladies do, because all three of you are crazy tough, and to be able to handle a distance program at a post-secondary level is something that not many people can do. So that is awesome, and I'm so happy for you guys to be able to do that. And I know sometimes it can be a little mind-numbing, but if you persevere and you get through it, you'll see some amazing results. So this next question kind of goes with the same thing that you guys were talking about, some of the expectations there, but maybe thinking outside the general perspective here. What are some tips or advice that you can give to some of the high school swimmers now that are about to go on to post-secondary in the next year or two?
I would say just for swimming in general, like both going from like age group or club swimming to university swimming, but also just year through year, I would definitely say to like not let what your races or performances have been in the past lets you hold back like what you can do later. Like really like early on in my swimming career, I was missing a lot of like qualifying times, like provincials I was a couple hundredths off, nationals I was a couple hundreds off of the third time, so I already had the 2 of them. And that really, I don't want to say held me back for a long time, but I had a lot of thinking of like, oh, last time I missed the qualifying time, like what makes me think this time is going to be so different? And that was a really big thing I had to overcome in order to start seeing success in other areas. So like getting qualifying times and things like that. So I would definitely say like, don't let your past performances hold you back. Like just keep pushing forward. And whether that's making a transition from like one level to the next or like beast to university, just keep moving forward.
Perfect. And Steph?
You know, I would really say that actually this was something that I couldn't realize at the time when I was like at Beast doing it, but I was like very grateful for after the fact, was that, I don't know, the program at Beast I found very centered around you being able to do all strokes and train all strokes, which at the time, you know, I found frustrating as I'm predominantly racing freestyle races. I'm like, why am I training backstroke? But I could really realize when I got to school that I like was very grateful for was that, you know, really listen to what I guess you're saying, like at least if the message is still the same what Brandon's saying about like, you know, you don't need to lock yourself in too early into, oh, I'm a freestyler, just because when I came to school and even like 3 years later in my 3rd year, I'm racing now events that I didn't even race in high school. Like the 400 IM turned out to be, you know, one of my greatest events. It was my one individual medal from OUAs. And even like this year, my U Sport cut was in the 200 fly. And like, these are events that I didn't swim at all in high school or even only a handful of times. So just like really remembering that what your best stroke might be right now, like don't like box yourself in, I guess. Like don't say, oh, you know, I can never train distance freestyle because right now I swim the 50 free. Like really focus on, you know, seeing like putting in the training now so that way, you know, in the future, like even worst case, you're just developing muscles and developing like better resistance to injuries like later. And, you know, that's a pretty good worst case scenario. Like nothing will ever go to waste.
I would just say that since we are forced to take this time off of swimming, I would advise to use this time to reflect on your swimming, make future plans, work out like as much as you can. Just like use this time to your benefit because it's completely out of everyone's control. So,
Anything else anyone wants to say to any of the swimmers out there or anything?
Like swim in your own lane. Like don't even now, like don't compare yourself to what your other teammates are doing. Like just make sure you're doing your best and you're doing what you can do to know that once you can get back in the pool, you did everything you could. So whether that looks like going for a bike ride, going for a run, if you don't have access to a pool, doing dryland, like just doing what the best you can and not comparing yourself to what your teammates are doing. And that holds true in the pool too. Like just swim your own race. I'd say like, you know, encourage you is that like now is not the time to stop making goals. Like even if, you know, you're out of school, you're out of swimming, like you can still be making goals that are both academic and athletically oriented. Like whether that's, oh, you know, I want to be able to do a unrestricted, like a handstand without any aid, or I want to be able to do a 1-arm push-up, or I want to be able to, you know, beat my 2-kilometer time that, you know, I see you guys have been doing like the 2-kilometer things. Like even if that's your goal, or even if you decide, oh, you know, I really need a break from like swimming, like it's like stressing me out to think about what next season could entail. Like, you know, making goals that are, oh, I'd like to read a book a day for the next 2 weeks. Like just goals like that. And just like, you can really like still like finding fulfillment in your days. Just like I found even now, like something I struggle with is, you know, school ended a month ago for us and swimming ended, I guess, a month and a half ago, and like struggling to find like something that is fulfilling in part of your day. And that's where I found like the reading the books and the doing the workouts have like really helped like keep the motivational mindset of, oh, I can still accomplish more even if, you know, things are restricted.
Perfect. I got one little follow-up question for Lauren because it was just something that I was thinking. So I know Steph and Katelyn are down in London. How is it for you being all the way out in Victoria? Have you struggled with that distance between Belleville or Trenton, Wooler, and there?
I'm home.
You're home now. I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
like during. Well, my mom comes out like every month, and my grandparents are there, so it's fine. Like I have a really good team. I have family out there, so it doesn't get too lonely. If I didn't have my grandparents out there, I think it would be tough. Yeah.
Would you say that like people that are considering going all the way out west, going east, going stateside, going international somewhere, or going far from home to take the leap regardless kind of thing, if that's where they want to go?
I think so. But you also have to remember like that it is hard to come home sometimes. Like it's not the easiest. So just think about, do you get homesick or stuff like that? Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much. I think that this is very, very insightful, and the swimmers watching this and the parents, coaches, anything like that can definitely take in a lot from you guys. So thank you very, very much. And I miss you girls, and I can't wait to see you again and watch Steph and Katelyn your senior year and Lauren getting in the junior year, and hope to see all of you guys finish up at U Sports on a high note there, and see what happens with trials and go from there. So thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks.
Okay, well, take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bit of a message here to all the swimmers on the Beast.
Hey guys, miss seeing you in the pool, playing all of our little games. I hope you guys are staying positive and staying active still and eating healthy, not all of the junk food I know you want to eat. Can't wait to see you guys back in the pool, and I miss you guys.
Miss you guys. I hope you're staying safe and you're having a lot of fun with your families. It's nice out, so I hope you're outside, you're playing, you're going for bike rides, and just making the most of the situation that we're in. Yeah, can't wait to see you guys.
I'm missing you all in the pool. I hope you're enjoying the beautiful weather and spending time outside, going for a walk, going in a pool if you have one now that it's warm enough out. But just keep a positive mindset and make the most of what you can.
I miss you all. Cannot wait to see you guys again. I'm missing going to meets with you. I hope you guys are finding new hobbies, enjoying the sun. Make sure you wear sunscreen. I've got burnt a couple times. Can't wait to go swimming with you guys again.
Even though we're still in the off time, it's almost go time. So make sure you're going after those goals, habits, everything we've been talking about. Believe me, this summer is going to fly by. Get ready. 3 months. It's almost go time.
I hope you are all staying safe, staying active, and I can't wait until we can get back into the pool. So see you when I see you.
All right, so that's all from the coaches. Thank you guys. Stay safe out there, and we will see you soon. Well, that's it for our show this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. As a matter of fact, that's it for the series as a whole. We are not only going to be producing more swim segments, but instead of being in an episode format, we'll put them out here or there, okay, and just keep them to a limited time of 5-10 minutes tops. That was the initial intent when we started this whole process, is to have 4 or 5 segments per show, 20-25 minutes. Didn't really happen. Interviews went long, but a lot of great content, so I hope you checked all that out. If you haven't, go back, rewatch some of the episodes. Some of those interviews were fantastic. Speaking of interviews, thank you so much to Mike McWha, the coach for the Windsor Aquatic Club and 2000 Olympian, for an amazing interview. As well as thank you to Lauren Taylor, Stephanie Cairns, and Katelyn Cairns, Beast Alumni and U Sports swimmers, for providing another amazing interview. Our team itself is so thankful, or so grateful to have such amazing coaches, and I want to take the time right now to obviously mention the amazing Coach Nyden, who's been contributing every week on some awesome segments, as well as Coach Kristen, who's come up with some outstanding live workouts and dry land challenges for the team. Speaking of which, this month's Dryland Challenge, the 80 kilometers around Quinte, make sure you bike, run, or walk that distance throughout the course of the month and get your results into Kristen. As well, thank you to Coach Amy, Coach Victoria, Coach Jenna, and Coach Alexis for your incredible contributions this season. All of these coaches do such a wonderful job programming for our athletes. And a message to the athletes, coaches, and parents. So first up, athletes, please stay positive during this time. I know it's tough, I know it's dragging on, but things are coming and we're gonna be able to get back in the water soon. So persevere, make sure you're prepared. If you aren't doing what you need to do, you know what you need to do, so do it now so you're ready to get in the water when that time comes. Coaches, right? Our coaching staff is amazing. I know that we've got a couple coaches moving on. We're gonna miss them dearly, but we will be back in the fall and a great program will be put together, I promise you that. Coaches from other clubs, I know that some of you are taking this time to spend with your families, and do so because the nature of our job is not easy and it takes a lot of time to coach every day and be gone weekends. Please feel free to reach out to myself or other coaches. It's a fraternity and we want to make sure that we take care of each other the best that we can. Things are going to look different out on deck next year. There's going to be a lot of coaching changes, and we welcome all the new coaches out there and know that any coaches that won't be returning, they're going to be missed, and we wish you the best in the future. Parents, please stay supportive to your coach, your team, and most importantly, your kid during all of this tough times and going forward when we get back in the water. You can trust that the coaches will put together a safe program that will allow everybody to operate in a proper manner. So please just stay positive and continue to be your athlete or your kid's biggest fan. So be there for them when they need it and help them achieve their goals and be part of the complete success. And what I mean by that is the coach, the athlete, the parent, working together, communicating on a regular basis, and just making sure that we provide the best opportunity for all the kids in the program. So thank you to everybody for tuning in. We definitely want to go to shorter videos and smaller segments because it'll be, first off, easier to produce. Video editing is something that I definitely don't want to go into. I want to be on deck coaching your kids, and can't wait for that to happen again. So look for some other stuff coming out in the future as well too. Maybe we can get into some open water in July. We'll definitely be back in the pool in the fall, hopefully September. And maybe there might be an option to be in some outdoor pools at some point in August. Who knows right now? The only thing that we do know is that we just have to keep trucking along and be ready to hit the water when that time comes. So take care, stay safe, be well, and know that the best years of swimming are ahead of us. Thank you so much. Take care.
Stay safe. Wash your hands. Bye bye.